I'm sure that by now all of you that are watching by television know that we're at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. I want to speak on the subject of fools. F-O-O-L-S. You remember Anthony Newley sang "What Kind of a Fool Am I?" to the top of the charts some years ago. P.T. Barnum came to this country and he said that a fool is born every minute in the United States. He said the American people want to be fooled and I'm here to fool them. And that's how Barnum and Bailey got started. But 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter and the 18th verse, these words, "Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise." And in Proverbs 10:21 it says, "Fools die for the want of wisdom." Proverbs 1:7 says, "Fools despise wisdom." Now you ask the question tonight, what is a fool? Look it up in your dictionary. I looked it up in a book of synonyms. What is a fool? And here are some of the things that it says. A stupid person, a bonehead, a blockhead, a simpleton, a chump, a nitwit, a nincompoop, a dullard, an oaf, a goose, a saphead, silly willy, numbskull, ignoramus, beetlehead. Those were just some of the synonyms of what a fool is. But there's another definition that I found in the dictionary that says that a fool is a person deficient in judgment, an idiot, a moron, an imbecile, a halfwit, and a defective. And then there's a third definition in your dictionary that says, under the meaning of fool, one who is a professional jester or a clown is many times called a fool, in another meaning of the word. Then there's a fourth meaning in the dictionary, one who has been imposed on by others, like a stooge or a person that's a very gullible person. We sometimes call him a fool. Now in the Bible, it may mean all of this as it's used in its context, because the word fool is used many times, but it's also a moral form. And these verses that I just read to you seem to contradict each other. They seem to be paradoxical. 1 Corinthians 3:18 it says, "Let him become a fool." And then in Proverbs 1:7 it says, "Fools despise wisdom." Now this is from God's point of view that we are looking at it tonight. What is a fool? In one passage, the fool is an unthinking, thoughtless, a careless person without true understanding. In the other passage, the word fools is used from the standpoint of people who have received Christ, and the world laughs at them because they're Christians, as the coach was saying a moment ago. So there are unwise fools in the Bible, and there are wise fools in the Bible. Now, to be born again has become a popular expression in the United States. But if you stood in a university in some of the countries that I go to and say that you'd been born again and carry a Bible around and prayed, you would certainly be called a fool. Jesus said, "Whoever calls his brother a fool is in danger of hellfire." Then why does the Bible call certain people a fool if Jesus says, if you call your brother a fool? I wouldn't dare use that name for you. And never use the word fool in anger, because that's what that passage really means. If you use the word fool in anger and call a man a fool, Jesus said you're in danger of hellfire. That's pretty strong language. Go home and look it up. But I'm telling you what God says about you, many of you, in certain instances. There are many fools in the Bible. I'm going to list a few of them tonight. One, there's the atheistic fool or the agnostic fool. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Now that expression is found twice in Psalms, Psalm 14 and Psalm 53. And the Hebrew word carries with it the idea, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God for me. In other words, you have rejected the idea of serving God. you really know there's a God. You know there's a supernatural being, but he's not for you. The Bible says you're a fool. I look up in the starry heavens at night in this wonderful weather we've been having in Indiana, and you can see the stars at night. And I sense the voice of conscience within, and like Immanuel Kant many years ago, I say, I know there must be a God. How could he put together a mind that we have? Or if you could see the birth of a baby, just sex itself, when you think it through, life and death, the entire universe. They are now telling us that the universe is so great there may be no end to it. Billions and billions and billions of galaxies and billions of stars and planets in each galaxy, and we don't have instruments to go to the end of it. Back of it is a supernatural being called God.